Hello, everyone. Welcome to Arbitrage Trade. I am Royce Wells. The title of today's seminar is Has Your Portfolio Risen Too? It is Easter Sunday, so we are celebrating the resurrection, and we are looking at some of these stocks and seeing maybe there might be a little resurrection coming for them. First one we're looking at right now is Tesla. If we look at our left-hand pane, let me bring that into view real quick. Looking at this guy, I think I brought the wrong one. One sec. Go back over here. Try that again. Yep. Bring it into view. And there we go. There we go. All right. So we're looking at Tesla on the daily time frame, and looks like we got a new buy indication saying that basically Tesla should be going up in the very near future. The daily time frame wants to see that. The recycle triangles that you see, those are for when the weekly also agree. So right now it's a little bit of pull and give, or give and pull. Currently, look, it appears that the red triangle is a little bit past the green. So that means on the weekly time frame, it's heading down, but on the daily time frame, there is still some hope for Tesla. Looking at this guy longer term, let's go to a smaller band to see what we're seeing and why we're seeing it. On the arbitrage band on the daily time frame, we see that it's just on the edge of pushing a new uptrend. We see the green X saying, hey, we might be going up. And it did push up just a little bit. If you were with us about a week or so ago, from the depths of 165 to 162, I believe, even 159 maybe, 2 weeks ago. And to where we are now, you've made about a 10% return. So kudos if you followed. If you did not, if you're waiting for the compass line to get over the RSI line, it actually has a chance. Notice that the trend top is on top of the black line, and all it needs to do is keep pushing that way. Our trend top and trend bottom are currently pointing up, and on daily time frame, once again, it is saying, hey, we're good to go. I like to look at the weekly just to see where we're going. And as I said on the weekly, we're still in an overall sell trend long term because we're underneath that black line. Let's go up to the monthly to see what it has. On the monthly, it's fighting the current quite hard, but there is a mean line for the arbitrage band finding support right at that 162-ish area where if you were following us where we said it should have bounced, it did bounce. We followed that green X that said it should be coming back up, and so far, so good. Long term, it might be a little bit bumpy, but if Tesla can get back over 240 over the next few months, that's quite a windfall if you decide to play. Once again, I have to say this because I am talking about securities. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I strictly use the indicators to read what the physics and probability are telling me. So right now on the monthly time frame, the forecast is still cloud cover, or basically still down on the monthly. On the weekly time frame, forecast is still underneath, but the histograms are getting smaller, which means there's more momentum trying to push it up. And finally, on the daily, our nose is just barely underneath the line. So let's see if we can actually get some traction and pull ourselves out of the grave, shall we? All right, let's go take a look I like to, since I'm already on stocks, let's go to US stocks and let's go to AutoZone. AutoZone, it's getting a little bit tumultuous over here. We got a red triangle letting us know that a downtrend should be coming, and we got that roughly on the 21st of March. And if you left around 21st of March, congratulations, you save yourself about a $50 to $70 haircut. The strange thing is, or the things we have to keep an eye out for, is now the 4-hour time frame is also agreeing with this daily time frame, and we're sitting right on the edge of having support at that 229.75 valuation. If we start to fall quickly, probability will expand, which then will allow a downtrend. But I guess our line in the sand, our canary in the cave is basically as long as we can hold 3105, that is our compass line, we should be able to make it out of this okay. If we can't, then basically look for lowers at near 2979. On our dashboard, we said Apocalypse Man is saying it's tired and it really wants us to come back. So let's go to our Apocalypse Man on this time frame to see what we see. Yeah, we're far from home. This is the dangerous thing about this particular stock. If the candles get too far from that pink line and find their way into the dark gray area, that's a bad thing because, like a magnet, they'll be drawn to it. Every single time it happens, the line gets in there, the candles get drawn back to it before they can go any further. So the last near brush with the pink line was January the 10th, and it had just enough down to give us our next leg up. And so far, so good. Probability did expand a little bit. You'll see there is a slight slope there, but also notice that the forecast is starting to point down. It's losing altitude, it's losing momentum, it's losing volatility, and because of that, that usually signals to us that there is a topping that is going on. Let's go take a look at international paper. International paper has tripped a new buy trend on our daily time frame, and then immediately got dollar sign saying we should take profit when it was near 40 and 14 cents. Since then, we've gotten a red X saying, hey, we're going back down. Forecast is it's still positive, but it is slanting down. So it is also slowing down, resembling a topping pattern, our top, sideways, and bottom saying, nope, it's in a sideways market. So if you're trying to buy right here, don't do it just yet. Look for support somewhere near around 37.69. And if we can hold that support, then we should be able to get our next leg up. So also notice that the trend top is now basically cresting over the mean line of this apocalypse band. If it can successfully get over it, that should open up a new world of possibilities and an even longer uptrend for a national paper. Crossing under, detrimental to its health. Crossing over, good things happen. So let's keep on watching. Okay, looking at U.S. Steel. Remember how I told you that guy jumped and then he had to come back? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Made all the way up to $50, and then from nowhere on March 13th, beware the Ides of March, all the way until the 15th, all he did was fall. But because he fell so quickly, over that 2 to 3 day window, he ran out of probability, forcing it to bounce. And right now, he's trying his best to get back over. What I'd love to see is a green triangle show up or a green recycle triangle show up, saying that the daily and the weekly want this guy to go back up. But right now, he's still just sideways. Looking at the S&P 500, yes, this index, this ETF definitely has risen. So if you were playing along, great. If you were not playing along, not so great. But guess what? Maybe more rise is on the way. We see a new green X for the 4-hour time frame. We need a green triangle for the daily to agree with it. But so far, it looks like it's a little too far from home. Typically, when it's this high, this pink line should be sitting somewhere near these top gray bands up here. But because of where it's at and how close it is to the edge of probability, we would either have to have a major gap up to get that line from where it is to the very top. So some people think that we're going to get another rally. It's more than possible. If we do rally, 547.57 should be our call top with support near 515. And let's see, I'm going to actually turn on the orbit line as well. because I like to know where we're going and where our next level of support, if there's a next level of support, is. And when I do that, that should have given us one more line, and it did. So there is support near this line somewhere around 449. So those are the major markers for the S&P 500 that we have to hit or basically stay above to maintain this uptrend. So right now, everything has risen and it will continue to rise until further notice. All right, let's go take a look at real estate. Real estate has been on the rebound as well. We got up, down. What's going? Why aren't we up anymore? Well, on a daily time frame, we got a brand new orange triangle letting us know that basically it's expecting more down in the near future, and typically it does not disappoint. However, the forecast is saying, nope, I'm moving at about $1.70 per day up. So maybe I can pull this off. I'm going to slow down just a little bit, but overall, I have positive momentum. Top, sideways, and bottoms is saying I'm no longer dragging. I'm trying to pick myself up. Just have a couple of moments, a little manic depressive, going from sideways to a sell over and over and over. But right now it's saying it's sideways, so hold the line and see where we land. Looking at Netflix. Netflix on the daily has triggered a sell. We got the first sell here, and the 4 hours also triggering a sell. Weekly still says it's going up, but let's see how close it is to triggering a change in direction. Once again, if we get too far from the line, and that line is in the danger zone again, that only spells disaster. With our orbit line on, we have support somewhere near 540, and if we break through that 540 barrier, 414 should be our next level of support that we need to stay over to let us know that we can stay in this market. While I'm at it, let me go look at the S&P 500 on the weekly as well before I get too far away. 390 is its ultimate support on the weekly time frame. So crossing under 390 spells disaster. So from where we are, that's a far cry, $150 from where we currently are. That's about 33% pullback. But I hate to say it, and I don't like to say it, but the buy is in danger, which means we could see numbers as low as 317 to turn this guy off somewhere this year or maybe next, all depending how fast the market moves. We'll keep an eye on this, but set your sights on 317.81 over the next 2 years. Okay, let's continue on. QQQ daily also has tripped a sell. 4 hour time frame said, yep, a sell is coming. So where are we and where is that line? Once again, just hovering and dancing with that danger zone. That means the trend is slowing down. And with the trend slowing down, we have support right at 419 from 444. And if we break through that, the next floor is about 305 on our weekly time frame. Let's be a little bit more optimistic, though. I'm going to reset the view, and we're going to go to the daily, and the next one closer within the year is about 377. That's a support level for the Qs. If we jump below that at that point, then it's absolutely time to go, and a sell trend is in full effect. But until then, hold the line, and hopefully it holds support. Looking at our forecast, it is gradually slowing down, and top, sideways, and bottoms has gone from a buy to sideways. So the Qs are slowly going down and being beaten, maybe even whipped, but will they rise again? Maybe. All right, let's go take a look at volatility. The VIX is all over the place, but mostly down as long as we're underneath. And basically, for us to get a rise in volatility, this is where it's fun, guys. In order for volatility to actually spike, we need to get over that 1518. If the VIX gets over 1518, that should be the spark that lights the match, that starts the fire, and we all go down. All right. So looking at that, looks like the forecast is slowly inching up, trying to sneak into it, and most people don't see our orbit line to to basically have that early warning system. But as soon as the VIX is over 15, 18, that's when we should start looking at what else is going on in the world markets. Meanwhile, FedEx is doing a very nice job. On the weekly, it triggered, and hopefully when we mentioned this a few weeks ago, when the weekly said it was beginning a new uptrend, you guys jumped on and got some because it was around 234. It's at 289. And look at that, all the way, all the way, all the way. And basically the fastest FedEx can go right now is about $2.67 per day, but currently it's moving at about $2.15 per day, but still overly upward trajectory. So keep an eye on it. If you're holding, hold. If you're selling, sell. If you're buying, hey, buy. But at this point, be a little careful. There is a Z up there. Saying that basically this looks like a top probability-wise. So let's go take a look at probability just a little bit to see where we are. And yes, we did basically almost go out of our advanced bands probability range. So because of that, we are looking at some pullback. And once again, we just need to stay above our orbit line, and that orbit line is sitting right at about 250. So as long as FedEx stays above 250, it's steady as she goes. All right. Looking at GE. We like GE, right? Absolutely, we like GE. Except on the daily, Apocalypse Man, it's too far, too fast, and now it's starting to hurt. Maybe the Freelium and in the medical field that basically does the MRIs, it's finally catching on because literally we watched GE go from an $89 stock almost to $175 stock in about a 2 to 3 year period. There was a reverse split that basically brought it to about $85, $90, but then from there it took off. So looking good, GE, but make sure if you're in this guy, we're on the edge of probability, so don't be the last one to leave. Take some profit. You've earned it. Looking at forex. Let's go to forex. Forex, we're going to take a look at the dollar and see what we see on the dollar. The dollar is currently positive, but ever so slightly positive, moving at about 2 to 3 cents per day. We are watching that pink line. That pink line is what the cause of most of our problems have been for the dollar. And when we were above it going into 2023, it got up there and tried to do a double top, didn't quite make it. But as you can see, it basically got to the edge of probability when it was 112 and had to come all the way back down, broke through. So roughly January of 2023, we should have had that warning and say, no. This is where we get off. And if you do, and if you did, great, you got to ride many of these USD pairs up or down. But if you stayed along and just rode the ride, there were many opportunities for the day traders and the swing traders, but not very many opportunities for the buy and holders because basically it stayed within a range. And if it wasn't in your range, it began to hurt a little bit. All right. So from where we are, I do want to see if we can get above. Right now, we're holding our orbit line and we're trying to get back above the pink. The good news is because we have been literally sitting in the same range for almost a year, that means we should literally almost get a year of nothing but up for the dollar going into the next 2 years based on this and this time frame. So let's go take a look at what's going on with everything versus the dollar. Because a lot of people said, hey, there's going to be a dollar recall and this and that and the other. But can that be? Will that be? Who knows? Also, same thing. Whenever a stock or a foreign exchange pair or anything hovers on this line for too long, the next move is usually in the opposite direction. And the reason for that is all this time spent in this direction or in this range allows it to skyrocket or fall from the sky because it has enough built up time in the trend that even falling abruptly will not move that average much. So looking at this, looks like NZD USD is heading down. So hopefully some of you guys got to ride the ride. I know on the 4-hour time frame, it was quite the show all the way from, so basically where we got the first indication that it was going down was March the 12th. And literally, if you just fell asleep from there to now, you would be up a little bit over 200 pips. So congratulations if you did. If you waited until the weekly also agreed, nothing wrong with that either. If you were following the forecast, nothing wrong with that either. The more things that agree in our system that you should be going down or going up, the better your odds are for actually succeeding. So make sure you're paying attention. The sell, in order to basically let the sell get back to where it needs to do, it had to rise just a little bit. So I'm looking for it to come up to about back almost to 60 cents again before completing our next leg down. Probability is not too bad. It's getting kind of high for the advanced band and the apocalypse band, but otherwise steady as she goes. So let's go take a look at AUD USD. Also, sell trend. It hit a bottom. And then what happens when it hits a bottom? A lot of people do this a little bit wrong. And this is what I mean by a little bit wrong. After you get your sell signal from the weekly and your daily and your red X, after you get your dollar signs, you do nothing because basically you just fell from the very bottom. If you're trading this and basically you're trying to figure out how to trade, you wait. If you're in an overall sell trend, you wait until it spikes. Like you buy the dip, you sell the rally. So the moment it told you to take profit, wait for it to get back to the top of the range and then put your sell stop in and then let it fall back down to you. You can also use Arbitrage Trade Assist, which will help you with that and at least notify you of when these opportunities happen, when to take profit, as well as when it might be time to get back in. So pay attention. We have a lot of new things coming for Trade Assist in the near future. Looking at EUR USD, same thing. We're going down. We're past that line. We're past our orbit line. So now the last barrier, the absolute last barrier is if this blue line passes this red line, it's going to be a full-on sell-off. So watch this guy very closely. He's just been drifting and drifting, and this compass line has just been closer and closer to that red line. The moment it touches, that's it. That's all, folks. And we go into free fall, landing somewhere near, and I'm going to say it, around 106 on this 4-hour time frame. So that's about 200 pips from where we are. So stay tuned to see what we see. We do see a little on the 4-hour time frame. There's a little green X right there saying there might be some up going into this Easter Sunday, but let's see if it will rise or if it will fall. All right, let's continue on. GBP USD. Past the orbit line, past the pink line, that is our RSI line, the relative strength for this trend. But look at this sneaky GBP USD has put up a green recycle triangle on our weekly time frame, saying that no, we should be able to go up from here. So let's go take a look at our weekly time frame with our arbitrage band to see what it sees, and that also can be why on the 4-hour time frame looks like there is an option to go up with a range of about up to 127. So it's about 120 or so pips in this trade if you're willing to take it at this time. Looking at the daily, I love when they're juxtaposed. Daily just tripped a new sell trend on our daily time frame. And if you're using statistics and probability correctly, it is always proper to assume the longer time frame always wins. The more samples you have always wins, which means you're more accurate the longer and further out you go. So with this thing, the daily might bring a little bit of an upset to the 4-hour time frame and continue to push us down. Meanwhile, JXY doing absolutely nothing, trying really hard, but overall just whiffing is the best way I can say it. We're underneath again the daily trip to sell. The our Atlas also said there's a sell here, but there's a green X here. So let me see. I'm going to zoom in just to make sure there's not a red one. There was a red one, but then it went back green. So from where we are, JXY is still just free floating. It's not fine. It's not rising. It's not falling. It's staying and hugging 66 for its dear life. And remember what I said previously, folks. The longer it stays in the range with that line in the danger zone and deflection zone, that allows literally for more legs down. So I want to see if JXY will hold 6606 or if Japan did a little bit too late raise their interest rates. Looking at NZD JPY. NZD JPY triggering buy on the daily, triggering buy on the 4-hour time frame. Forecast on the daily, however, is still red. With it still being red, that is it still thinks that there's going to be down. It's currently losing about 7 cents per day. So not great, not bad, but if it's going to lose, it needs to lose a little bit faster. These guys are typically extremely volatile. So a 10-cent range on a forecast or a 7-cent range on a forecast is nothing. But currently, it is saying downtrend, downtrend, and we are underneath that black line on its daily time frame. So currently, NZD-JPY looks like it wants to be a sell trend. And looks like that means if our support can hold at 89.32, then we continue to go up. If we, however, break under that 89.32, more down is coming. And looks like it wants to go back as far as 84.41. So keep an eye on this guy because there may be a ton more fireworks before this is all over. Okay, let's keep on going. Looking at AUD JPY, it's also trying to pick itself back up. Notice its forecast is still positive and top sideways and bottom still has it pointing up. It did fall from the sky, gave us an X when it was right at 100 and then fell almost 200 pips in about 2 weeks ago. So right now it has a doji, so there's a little bit of indecision going on in the market, and we're trying to see how much it's going to slow down, if it's going to slow down. But overall, the only thing that will make us go down is if this black line enters into that deflection zone, and currently nothing is making it or says that it has to just yet. So if you've been playing this guy as a buy and hold on the monthly time frame, you've had no complaints literally since 2021 when we first crossed over, letting us know that, hey, from 77 all the way to 98, nothing but blue skies. So from where we are, let's see what the next cycle holds, and if we get a nice ride down, just like we had a nice 2-year ride up. Euro JPY, same deal. Roughly 2021, March 2021, if you jumped on the train on the monthly time frame and just held on from 124 all the way up to 163, that's over 4,000 pips, and all you had to do was hold the line. It's beautiful. Forecast even agreed roughly about the same time. So once those guys were in sync, all we had to do was just ride the ride. Hopefully you've taken some profit along the way, and hopefully things continue to ride as they are. I do see that the compass and the momentum line are starting to converge just a little bit as the black line does flirt with the idea of getting into the danger zone. From where we are, I do see that the intermediate band, the Z Pro indicator is saying like you're way out of line. And because of that, I'm expecting there to be somewhat of a pullback on this guy to get him more in line with the overall trend. There is support somewhere in around 143. So let's see if it can first hold 152. And if it can, great. If it can't, then 143 becomes the next mile marker. Looking at GBP, JPY, a similar graph. EUR, JPY, GBP, JPY. Everybody's up, 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 and definitely rising. But once again, we're keeping an eye on this black line, and we're keeping an eye on basically the novice band says that, hey, you're too hot. You have to come back down. And with that being said, we're just making sure that we are not going to get burned by this. The crazy thing with GBP, JPY, in order for the buy trend, notice what I said, the buy trend to continue on this arbitrage band, it needs to just go down and touch 166.52. So that means literally these guys, I'm expecting insane volatility on the JPY pairs to make it even be able to attempt that. So keep your eyes peeled and stay tuned as we watch GBP, JPY either go up in a blaze of glory or go down in a blaze of glory. All right. Let's go take a look at crypto, and then I'm going to let you guys go. All right. So looking at crypto, Bitcoin is rising. And notice this last candle. I love this, right? Last candle, we're going up, and even on the daily time frame, monthly time frame, we just tripped a new buy trend on Bitcoin on February the 1st of 2024. So with that crossover and basically that pull up, looks like we're in another buy trend for Bitcoin with a top out near around 79.80K. But if it basically gives back roughly half of that and we want anywhere near 51,000, be careful because that might be enough to push this compass line back under that RSI line. I do like the fact that it's separating from the danger zone, which means it gives more probability that up is possible. So pay attention to the halving that's happening at the end of April, and good luck. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.